Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at the physical Ginyu Force LR after their EZA on DBZ Dokkan Battle Global. So obviously if you need assistance with their EZA, I'll put it in the top right hand corner. But they recently got an EZA and they're looking pretty solid. They're now an all types lead of 120%. Which is, pretty solid overall. It's a decent leader skill. I think nowadays it's kind of the set standard for these Dokkan LR Awakenings to go to like 120% style lead. I think it's pretty like consistent. Then they raise attack and defense for 1 turn on their 12 key. And on their 18 key, they raise attack and defense for 1 turn, cause mega colossal damage, and they also raise allies attack and defense by 30% for 1 turn. So they're pretty good for setting up allies or increasing the power of your other members of your team. They then have attack and defense of 77% with an additional attack and defense of 10% per Ginyu Force category ally on the team. They also have the ability to support your team as well, which is pretty strong, and they also can create rainbow orbs, which is also pretty good. So overall they have a nice kit. The ability to create rainbow orbs plus the 2 key from their passive means that they are able to really provide enough key for themselves. And then they also have a pretty solid kind of mix of support and personal stats. I think in terms of build, I probably would go critical still. These guys can hit some pretty gnarly attack stats, which we'll see just now, and I think getting crits on those attack stats is going to be a lot better. In terms of their link set, it's a kind of stock standard Ginyu Force link set. They do have shocking speed and legendary power, which does obviously make them a little bit more viable with other units, but for the most part they are designed to link with the Tech LR free-to-play Ginyu as well. They also link somewhat decently with other Ginyu Force members, although not nearly as much as they do with the Tech LR. They link well with Raccoon, they link okay with the AGL one, so they got options, but realistically speaking, you are expected to run them with the Tech LR, who doesn't have his EZA now, but will probably get one in the near future. So, with the physical LR Ginyu, basically, we're going to take a look at how well they do on a team with only Ginyu Force members. Now they are quite limited in categories, but you should be able to fit, especially nowadays with the quality of Ginyu Force battle members, you should be able to fit quite a few on a team. I mean, here we can see the physical LR with over 250,000 defense. The LR is going to raise their defense when they fire a super attack. They're going to be close to the 300k mark, which is pretty impressive. Not to mention that, but they're also giving the rest of the rotation 30% already. And they're now going to give them another 30% when they fire the super attack, which is pretty nuts. We're putting the Tech LR first so that they can raise the attack of the physical LR, and we're probably going to see a pretty gnarly attack stat here. 7 million, which is really, really good, and it's why I suggest going crit on them, because, for that exact reason, because you can crit with a 7 million attack stat, which is really, really solid. Now obviously that's kind of their perfect setup. We had the AGL Ginyu giving them support, we had pretty much every link active, we had the Tech LR fire the attack first. In the super hard content you're not going to be able to have the Tech LR fire their attack first, and honestly in super hard content I actually still almost suggest using the physical Ginyu LR as more a floating support than anything else. But in the right situations or paired up with the AGL Ginyu, you're going to be able to use them to absorb some pretty decent damage, especially with an item active, and they're going to really support and boost the rest of the rotation. Again here, we're going to see them in a pretty good scenario. Obviously the exact same defensive stat, it's the exact same setup as before. We can see that they've got a lot of the links rocking, which is pretty awesome. And we're going to get a good idea of how well they do. You can see the rainbow orbs helping out again, because obviously that just helps them set up and get their ultra super attack. Their ultra super attack is miles better than their 12 key, and I really don't see the point in additionals, but yeah, they're just looking really solid. I'm really chuffed with this EZA. I think it's good, I think it's the right time, and I think it's a good buff for the Ginyu Force team, which is getting a lot of buffs right now, but it also helps Space Traveling Warriors, Joint Forces, Terrifying Conquerors, Planet Namek Saga. All of those teams get indirectly buffed because of things like this, and free-to-play players also get indirectly buffed quite a bit because of things like this. So yeah, I think overall it's pretty impressive. I'm really happy with how well they're doing, and yeah, I think they honestly just put out a really good amount of performance. I think they're impressive as a unit. I think they bring a lot to the table. They bring great support, which is always, appreciated, especially when supports can hold their own offensively and defensively. It's a far cry from the days where we used to have units that only gave allies 30% attack and defense and just did nothing for themselves. So it's really good. We can see here that Ginyu, obviously the AGL one, is pretty nuts. And just to remember that they were running under a 200% lead for this entire run here. But I think looking at them on the Ginyu Force team is the right way to go about it. They are a free-to-play unit, and you are more than likely only going to use them on Ginyu Force centric teams or with the Ginyu Force EZA team. So I'm not going to try and take a look at them on a team without the Ginyu Force, although I don't think their drop off would be too heavy, but you would definitely see a big reduction in stats. We're talking maybe around the 160-170k mark instead of the 250 mark that we've seen them at, depending obviously on how many units you have, because you can always rock a double AGL Ginyu for this exact reason. So in terms of links, obviously they have Fear and Faith, they have Loyalty, they have Shocking Speed, they have Legendary Power, Ginyu Force, and Signature Pose. They've got a decent link set, but it's very clear that they were designed to link with the LR Tech Ginyu, which is why they share so many great links with that unit. They share 5 links. If you are interested in linking them up with other units, you're probably looking at Fear and Faith being your #1 link priority. You can see here they've got some decent options in the form of the King Cold and Freezer unit, the Metal Cooler unit, the AGL Android 17 and 18, the Majin Buu and Babidi unit. All of these units are on Joint Forces. So although they're not necessarily on a lot of categories together, you can at least utilize them on the Joint Forces category. Obviously, I don't necessarily suggest it. It's not really the best way to go about it, but I think at least if you do that, then you are getting some kind of synergy from them, and it provides nice free-to-play options for players to run on their teams, which I think is pretty decent overall. Obviously, in terms of their other link sets, if we're just going to really try and whittle down to what's going to work, I think obviously you want to focus on Ginyu Force based team members. It is just something that is going to work for you, and it just works better overall. There's no need to try and push the boundaries with a unit like this. You realistically just want to run them on the team that they're going to be the most respectable on, and they're going to be the most useful on. You can see here that's where a lot of the Ginyu Force units come in, or the Ginyu units especially. They link decently with all 3 of them. Obviously best with the Tech LR, but they link decently with the AGL Ginyu and with the Int Ginyu. So you've got decent free-to-play options, along with obviously one of the better, if not the best, summonable TURs to run with. And the Ginyu Force team, is becoming really quite powerful. I mean, if you have Jason, Berta, and you have Raccoon and Gildo, and you have AGL Ginyu and this new physical Ginyu, you're running a pretty stacked team for the most part. You're running a pretty optimal, pretty crazy team, which I think is really impressive and really good. So yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to major links. It is a little bit difficult, like I said, to kind of focus in on side links or things like that, but there are some decent linkage that you can get from these side units. You've got the Raccoon and Gildo, the Jason Berta. You've also got the actual physical Raccoon, who makes a great pairing partner for them. They share 3 links, and obviously you can use them on physical based teams for things like Ultimate Clash, the original SBR, the first 10 ESBR, God's Destruction events. So there is a pretty good like meshing there, like a pretty good combination run there, which you can do. But for the most part, you really want to stick to Ginyus, because that's where you're going to get the most out of them. But yeah, their link set's pretty powerful. I do like it. It is limited, but it's good with the units they link with. So it's one of those things. Like, I always feel like if you're going to give a unit a very unique link set, like with cells, and cells only link well with other cells, then at least all the cells have a good link set together. You know, they all have big bad bosses, they all have gentlemen, and they all have those really powerful links. And it's the same thing with Captain Ginyu. Ginyu links well with other Ginyu units. It's very obvious that those are his best partners, but the links that they do share are really, really strong. Ginyu Force, loyalty, respect, gentlemen, all super powerful links that really help them out. But that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and bye.